Where words fail, music speaks. That is a quote by Hans Christian Andersen, and it's one that I've always held close to my heart and one that I thought was pretty accurate to describe life. Growing up, my dad was a part of music bands, and he was a singer, and I wanted to be a singer, and my brother started playing guitar, and ever since the day I was born, I've been surrounded by music and its beautiful art form. As I've gotten older, I've been thankful to be exposed to different kinds of art, such as theater, which is what I want to do for the rest of my life, and I can't thank my education enough for giving me the opportunity to do theater. However, I understand that not all students have this opportunity, and that's why I am here today to tell you why art should be funded in the education and why I think it is such an important part of life. Now, when I say arts in the education, this is what I mean. I mean music classes that teach the basic reading of music and timing, which could help with your math and your critical thinking skills. Dance classes, which are a fun, engaging way of physical exercise, which is really good for youngsters, and it shows body development and a better way to look at your personality and get in touch with your physical body. You can take art classes, which exposes students to different cultures and history, such as how art affected the Renaissance period and the different techniques that are used for modern art in Japan compared to the United States. Also, my favorite one, theater classes. These are used a lot in English classes to expose students to different forms of literature, such as scripts, which are a lot different than simply sitting down and reading a book. Scripts usually leave out a lot of detail, and that leaves a lot of things up to the imagination for the students to figure out. Theater is also a good way to practice public speaking with students, because you have a script and you don't necessarily have to be yourself. It helps students get more comfortable with diction and volume and memorization. Overall, this gives students different forms of expression, and I think that is really crucial to helping them develop properly. Now, here are some studies that show the benefits of having arts in the education. It improves reading, math, writing, and literature skills. Arts Education Partnership Report in 2002, they did 62 studies. 100 researchers found that throughout fine arts and visual arts, students who were exposed to this did better on standardized tests, had better social skills, and were more motivated than those who had reduced or no access to this. Throughout the literature aspect, Solomon G. Guggenheim's study of 2006 had the Learning Through the Art Act, or the Learning Through the Art study. This is where they brought in actual artists to teach students and help them create their own masterpieces. And they found out at the end of this that students did better on their oral exams, not necessarily their standardized testing, simply because whenever they would have to talk about the art, it would require them to have a lot of critical thinking, which helped them with their literature. This also, being exposed to the arts, helps students have a bigger picture on the world. Rand Corporation, A Portrait of Visual Arts, in 2005, found out, as I said earlier, that not all students are exposed to this throughout their schooling. But once you give them to these students, it helps close socioeconomical gaps between the lower and upper class, because once you've exposed this to them, it helps the lower class have a more enriched view on life, whereas they wouldn't normally get it outside of their education. And finally, it also helps improve their developmental skills. John Hopkins' Neuroeducation, Learning the Brain, Learning the Art and the Brain, found out that through music training or any training of specific arts, helped to give them better attention, improve their motor skills, higher IQ, and overall this showed the impact on the brain and how a sustained arts education is an essential part of life and social and intellectual development. Now, this is what arts education is like currently. December of 2015, Congress passed the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, which helped give arts education more opportunities. This meant that arts should be included in the well-rounded education students should get once they leave high school, and that arts should be fairly built throughout this time. However, according to the America for the Arts, there's still three big issues, because not all of this is supported throughout the state funding. Three issues that activists for this should focus on are ensuring well-rounded arts provision in the new law are fully implemented throughout the states, supporting funds for the Assistance of Arts Education program at the U.S. Department of Education of $30 million, supporting full funding, the student support, and academic enrichment grant program as its authorized level of $1.6 billion. In conclusion, funding these would help get better instructors, opportunities to be exposed, such as seeing live theater and all these sorts of things, and help students have better opportunities to create, perform, and analyze the art they're exposed to. Personally, I feel that art is in everything you do and in everything that you see. And I think it's such an important part of life and what sculpts you and makes you who you are every day of every minute. Art made me who I am. And I think it's so important to help expose every child to this in order to help them and guide them to being who they truly are.